My grandmother looked at my wrist and asked, "Where's the bracelet I gave you for your college graduation?" Before I could answer, my mother said, "We gave it to Olivia. She deserved it more." My grandmother went completely still. Then she stood up, walked to her bedroom, and came back with a folder. What she revealed in the next 10 minutes made my mother turn white, my father leave the room, and my sister start crying. Because that bracelet wasn't just jewelry. And my grandmother had been waiting 30 years for someone to take it from me. Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca Turner, I'm 28 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most shocking, revealing, and ultimately justice-serving story about family favoritism, a stolen heirloom, and the grandmother who had been documenting everything for 3 decades. This happened 6 months ago at a family dinner, and it exposed secrets that literally rewrote our family's entire history. So buckle up, because this story goes places nobody expected. Let me start by explaining my family dynamic. I'm the oldest of 2 daughters. My younger sister, Olivia, is 25. We've always had a complicated relationship, mostly because my parents have never hidden that she's the favorite. Olivia is everything my parents wanted: outgoing, social, married to a successful lawyer, planning to have kids soon. She fits their vision of success. Me. I'm the quiet one. I focused on academics. Got my degree in biochemistry. Went to grad school. Now I work as a research scientist. I'm single, career-focused, and apparently disappointing to my parents. When are you going to find a nice man? My mother asks constantly. Your sister already has her life figured out, my father says. You're too serious. You need to be more like Olivia, they both say. I'm used to it. I've accepted that I'm not their favorite. But it still hurts. The person who always saw me differently was my grandmother, Patricia. My father's mother. She's 81 years old, sharp as a tack, and has always been my biggest supporter. When I graduated college 4 years ago with highest honors, my grandmother gave me a gift during a private moment before the graduation ceremony. It was a beautiful antique bracelet. Gold, with intricate filigree work and 3 small diamonds. It was stunning and clearly very old. This belonged to my grandmother, she told me. She gave it to me when I graduated college in 1964. It's been passed down through the women in our family for 4 generations. And now it's yours. I was overwhelmed. Grandma, this is too much. Nonsense. You earned this, Rebecca. You worked so hard. You stayed focused while everyone doubted you. This bracelet represents women in our family who fought for their education, who refused to settle. You're one of them. I wore that bracelet every day. It became my most treasured possession. Not because of its monetary value, but because of what it represented, my grandmother's belief in me. 2 years after graduation, I moved across the country for grad school. I was packing up my apartment when my mother came over to help. Rebecca, you're not taking that old bracelet to grad school, are you? She asked, looking at it on my dresser. Of course I am. Grandma gave it to me. It's a valuable antique. What if it gets lost or stolen? You should leave it here for safekeeping. Mom, I wear it every day. I'll be careful with it. Rebecca, be practical. Leave it here. When you're settled, you can take it. Against my better judgment, I agreed. I left the bracelet with my mother for safekeeping. That was 3 years ago. I didn't think much about it at first. I was busy with grad school, research, exams. But after the first year, I asked my mother to send me the bracelet. I can't find it right now, she said. It's somewhere safe. I'll send it when I locate it. She never sent it. I asked again 6 months later. Mom, seriously, I want my bracelet back. Rebecca, don't be so materialistic. It's just jewelry. It's not just jewelry. It's from Grandma. It's an heirloom. I'll find it. Stop nagging me about it. I asked 3 more times over the next year. Each time, she had an excuse. She couldn't find it. She packed it away. She'd send it soon. Then I stopped asking. I was hurt and frustrated, but I figured it was somewhere in my parents' house and I'd get it back eventually. Last month, I finished my PhD. Defended my dissertation successfully. My parents flew out for the ceremony, along with my grandmother, who insisted on being there despite her age. It was a proud moment. Dr. Rebecca Turner. Years of work had paid off. After the ceremony, we all went to dinner at a nice restaurant. My parents, my grandmother, Olivia and her husband Derek. At dinner, my parents toasted me. To Rebecca, finally finishing school, my father said, in a tone that suggested I'd been wasting time rather than earning a doctorate. Olivia raised her glass with a tight smile. She'd always been competitive with me, even though I'd never competed with her. Then my grandmother reached across the table and took my hand. Rebecca, I'm so proud of you. Dr. Turner. It has a nice ring to it. Thanks, Grandma. She looked at my wrist. Where's the bracelet I gave you for your college graduation? I thought you'd be wearing it today. The table went quiet. Oh, I said awkwardly. I left it at Mom and Dad's house for safekeeping when I moved for grad school. My grandmother turned to my mother. For safekeeping? Why wouldn't Rebecca have it with her? Before I could explain further, my mother spoke up casually. Actually, we gave it to Olivia. I felt like I'd been slapped. You what? The bracelet. We gave it to Olivia when she got engaged last year. It seemed appropriate. She's starting her family, settling down. It fits her life better. I stared at my mother in disbelief. You gave away my bracelet? The one Grandma gave to me? Rebecca, don't be dramatic. It's just a piece of jewelry. Olivia appreciated it more than you did. You were across the country. She wears it all the time. I looked at my sister. She was wearing the bracelet. Right there on her wrist. My bracelet. Olivia, did you know that was mine? She wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom said it was a family heirloom and she wanted me to have it. I didn't know it was specifically yours. I told you it was mine. Multiple times. You knew. Don't raise your voice, my father said. You're causing a scene. I turned to him. I'm causing a scene. You gave away something Grandma gave to me. Without asking. Without even telling me. We made an executive decision, my mother said coolly. The bracelet should go to the daughter who will appreciate it properly. I felt tears building but refused to cry. I did appreciate it. I wore it every single day until I left it with you for safekeeping. You stole it from me. We didn't steal anything, my father said. We redistributed a family heirloom to the appropriate person. Throughout this entire exchange, my grandmother had been silent. Completely still. Just watching. Then she spoke. Her voice was quiet but cut through the noise like a knife. Patricia. My mother said nervously. Are you okay? My grandmother didn't answer my mother. She looked at me. Rebecca, I'm very tired. Can you take me home? Of course, Grandma. Good. Everyone else, stay here. Finish your dinner. Rebecca and I are leaving. She stood up slowly. I helped her with her coat. My parents looked confused. Mom, don't be upset, my father said to my grandmother. It's still in the family. My grandmother just looked at him. The disappointment in her eyes was devastating. Come, Rebecca, she said. We left. I drove her home in silence. When we got to her house, she said, come inside. I have something to show you. In her living room, she went to her desk and pulled out a thick folder. She'd been carrying it when we left the restaurant. Sit down, she said. I sat. She opened the folder. When I gave you that bracelet 4 years ago, I told you it belonged to my grandmother. That's true. But there's more to the story. She pulled out an old photograph. A woman from the 1920s wearing the bracelet. This is my grandmother, Eleanor. She was a teacher in 1925 when women teachers were forced to quit if they got married. She refused to marry until she was 35 because she wouldn't give up her career. That bracelet was given to her by her mother as a reminder to never compromise who she was for what society expected. She pulled out another photo. A woman from the 1950s. My mother. She wore this bracelet through medical school in 1948. One of 3 women in her class. She became a doctor despite everyone telling her to be a nurse instead. Another photo. My grandmother as a young woman. Me in 1964. I wore this bracelet when I graduated college and announced I was going to law school. My husband's family thought I should stay home. I went anyway. Became a lawyer in 1967. I was starting to understand. This bracelet has been passed down to the eldest daughter in our family for 4 generations. Always to the one who chooses education and career over settling. The one who fights against expectations. She looked at me. You're the 5th generation, Rebecca. And you earned it. You earned it by staying in school when your parents wanted you to find a nice man. You earned it by choosing grad school over their approval. You earned it by becoming Dr. Turner despite them telling you to stop being so serious. Tears were rolling down my face now. Your parents gave that bracelet to your sister. But Olivia didn't earn it. She followed every rule, met every expectation, did exactly what they wanted. There's nothing wrong with that path, but it's not the path this bracelet honors. She pulled out more documents from the folder. I've been documenting everything for years, Rebecca. Every time your parents dismissed your achievements. Every time they praised Olivia for doing less. Every time they made you feel inadequate. She showed me papers. Copies of my report cards with my parents' dismissive comments. Copies of acceptance letters they'd barely acknowledged. Graduation programs they'd complained about attending. Why did you keep all this? I asked. Because I knew one day they'd cross a line. And I wanted proof. Proof that you were never the problem. Proof that their favoritism wasn't in your imagination. She pulled out one more document. A legal document. This is my will. Updated 3 weeks ago. I looked at it. My grandmother was leaving her entire estate to me. Her house. Her savings. Her investments. Everything. Grandma, no. You don't have to, I want to. Your father and Olivia were going to get equal shares. But when your mother told me they'd given your bracelet to Olivia, I knew. I knew they'd crossed the line. They stole from you. They took something that was yours by right and gave it to their favorite. She pointed to a clause in the will. This states that Olivia is entitled to one thing from my estate, the bracelet. Because I want her to know that's all she's getting. The bracelet she stole from you. What about Dad? Your father gets $5,000. Enough that he can't contest the will. But the house, the investments, the savings, all of it goes to you. Because you're the one who actually spent time with me. You're the one who called me every week from grad school. You're the one who visited even when your parents said I was too old to appreciate company. I was sobbing now. Grandma, I didn't do those things to get your money. I know you didn't. That's exactly why you're getting it. She pulled out one final document. And this is a letter. To be read at my funeral. It explains everything. Why you got the estate. Why the bracelet went to you originally. Why your parents' favoritism was documented and rejected. Grandma, please don't talk about your funeral. I'm 81, darling. We have to be practical. When I'm gone, your parents will be furious about the will. This letter will explain that it wasn't spontaneous. It was calculated. Based on 30 years of watching them favor one daughter while dismissing the other. She closed the folder. Tomorrow, we're going to my lawyer. You're going to get copies of everything. And then we're going back to your parents' house. Why? Because you're going to ask for your bracelet back. In front of me. And we're going to see what they choose. The next morning, we went to the lawyer. I got copies of everything, the will, the letter, the documentation of years of favoritism. Then we drove to my parents' house. My grandmother called ahead. We're coming over. I need to discuss something with everyone. My parents were there. So was Olivia. We sat in the living room. The tension was immediate. My grandmother started. Yesterday at dinner, I learned that you gave Rebecca's bracelet to Olivia. I'd like it returned to Rebecca. Now. My mother bristled. Mom, we explained this. We made a decision about the family heirloom. It wasn't yours to decide. I gave it to Rebecca. Not to the family generally. To Rebecca specifically. But Olivia, my father started. Olivia has her own life, her own husband, her own path. The bracelet was meant for Rebecca. It honors a specific tradition. A tradition Olivia doesn't embody. Olivia finally spoke. So I'm not good enough for the family bracelet. You're good enough for many things, my grandmother said. But that bracelet is for the women in our family who choose education and independence over societal expectations. You chose the traditional path. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not what the bracelet represents. My mother stood up. This is ridiculous. You can't come into our house and dictate. I can and I will. Return the bracelet to Rebecca. No, my mother said firmly. We're keeping it. Olivia deserves it more. My grandmother opened her folder. Then you should know something. She handed them copies of the will. My father read it. His face went from confused to shocked to angry. You're leaving everything to Rebecca? Everything? Yes. That's not fair. Olivia is your granddaughter too. Olivia is getting the bracelet. That's what you decided was appropriate for her. So that's what she gets. My mother was reading the will now, her hands shaking. The house alone is worth over $1 million. The investments, Mom, this isn't fair. Fair. My grandmother's voice turned icy. Fair is giving your daughter a family heirloom and having it respected. Fair is acknowledging both your children's achievements equally. Fair is not stealing from one daughter to give to your favorite. She pulled out the documentation. This is 30 years of favoritism. Every dismissive comment. Every ignored achievement. Every time you made Rebecca feel less than Olivia. She handed them the papers. My parents flipped through, their faces getting paler. You've been documenting, my father couldn't finish. Documenting your failures as parents? Yes. Because I knew one day you'd go too far. And stealing Rebecca's bracelet was that moment. Olivia was crying now. I didn't know it meant this much. I didn't know. You knew it was Rebecca's, my grandmother said, not unkindly. Your mother told you. You chose to accept it anyway. Olivia looked at me. Rebecca, I'm sorry. I really am. Here, she started to take off the bracelet. No, my grandmother said. Keep it. It's yours now according to the will. But know that it cost you a relationship with your sister and the rest of the inheritance. She turned to my parents. You have a choice. You can make this right. You can apologize to Rebecca genuinely. You can start treating your daughters equally. Or you can continue this pattern and live with the consequences. The consequences being you leave everything to Rebecca? My father said bitterly. The consequences being you lose both daughters, my grandmother said. Because Rebecca will finally be free of your expectations and Olivia will resent you for costing her an inheritance. My mother looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time in years. Rebecca, honey, we didn't realize what? That I have feelings. That being ignored and dismissed hurts. That giving my things to Olivia would upset me? We thought you didn't care about these things, because you never asked. You just assumed. You've spent my entire life assuming I don't need attention or validation or love because I'm not as outgoing as Olivia. My father tried to salvage it. We can fix this. We'll get you a new bracelet. I don't want a new bracelet. I wanted the one Grandma gave me. I wanted you to respect that it was mine. The room fell into heavy silence. Finally, Olivia spoke. I'll give it back. Rebecca, here. Take it. She held out the bracelet. I looked at it. Then at my grandmother. Then at my parents. No, I said. Grandma's right. Keep it. It's yours now. According to the will. Rebecca, Olivia started. But know that every time you wear it, you'll remember that you got it because our parents value you more than me. And that's not a gift. That's a burden. I stood up. I'm leaving. Grandma, do you want to come with me? Yes, dear. We walked to the door. My mother called after us. Rebecca, please. Can we talk about this? I turned back. You had 30 years to talk about this. You chose not to. We left. That was 6 months ago. My grandmother passed away peacefully last month at age 81. She died in her sleep. I was with her. At the funeral, the lawyer read her letter as instructed. It detailed everything, the 30 years of documentation, the reasons for the will, the bracelet story. My parents were humiliated in front of the entire extended family. Several relatives approached me afterwards saying they'd suspected favoritism but never knew it was this bad. Olivia tried to give me the bracelet at the funeral. Rebecca, please take it. I don't want it anymore. Keep it, I said. It's what Grandma wanted. You have the bracelet. I have everything else. The estate was settled. I inherited the house, which I sold, too many memories, the investments, the savings. Total value, $1.8 million. Olivia got the bracelet. Worth approximately $15,000. My father got his $5,000. He tried to contest the will. His lawyer told him it was airtight. 30 years of documentation, clear testamentary capacity, no signs of undue influence. My parents tried to reconcile. Dinner invitations. Apologetic emails. Phone calls I didn't answer. Finally, my mother showed up at my apartment. Rebecca, please. We're sorry. We know we favored Olivia. We're trying to do better. Trying to do better now that there's no inheritance to gain? I asked. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? You stole my bracelet. You dismissed my PhD. You made me feel worthless my entire life. And now you want me to forgive you because Grandma called you out? We made mistakes. Mistakes are accidents. What you did was deliberate. 30 years of choosing Olivia over me. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. She left crying. Olivia and I have a complicated relationship now. She apologized genuinely. I'm sorry I accepted the bracelet. I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you. I'm sorry I took advantage of being the favorite. Did you know? All those years, did you know they were treating me differently? She was quiet for a long time. Yeah. I knew. And I liked it. I liked being the favorite. I'm ashamed of that now. At least you're honest. We're not close. Maybe we never will be. But we're cordial. She wears the bracelet sometimes, and I've made peace with that. As for my parents, we're civil at family events. But the relationship is broken. Maybe permanently. The inheritance money? I invested most of it. Used some to pay off my student loans. Donated some to scholarships for women in STEM. And I commissioned a replica of the bracelet. Had it made by the original jeweler's descendant, who still has the pattern books. It's not the original, but it represents the same thing. I wear it every day. A reminder of my grandmother's love. Of women who fought for education. Of choosing myself over other people's expectations. My grandmother left me more than money. She left me validation. Proof that I wasn't crazy. That the favoritism was real. That I deserved better. And she left me freedom. Financial freedom to pursue my career without worrying about my parents' approval. Emotional freedom to set boundaries without guilt. The bracelet they stole from me was just jewelry. But what my grandmother gave me was something far more valuable, confirmation that I was always enough, exactly as I was. So that's my story. The grandmother who documented everything. The parents who chose wrong. The heirloom that exposed 30 years of favoritism. Some people say I should forgive my parents. That family is important. That grudges are unhealthy. But forgiveness requires remorse. Real remorse. Not we're sorry you're upset, but we're sorry for what we did. My parents are sorry they got caught. Sorry they lost the inheritance. Sorry the family knows their favoritism. But I don't think they're sorry for how they treated me. Not really. And I've decided that's okay. I don't need their apology to move forward. I have my career, my grandmother's legacy, and the knowledge that I earned everything I have. The bracelet they gave to Olivia. It's just metal and stones. The real inheritance was my grandmother's belief in me. And nobody can steal that.